In the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, welcome everyone to the April 22nd, 2025 City Council meeting. We'll go ahead and do roll call.
Councilwoman Gottschall. Here. Councilman Jackson.
Here.
Councilman Looper.
Here.
Councilwoman Camp. Here. Councilman Tucker.
Here.
Mayor Nichols. Mayor Pro Tem Duran.
Here. We'll just make note that Mayor Nichols and City Manager Peter Brixius are traveling on a city-sponsored trip. They are attending an Energy Communities Alliance Conference in Idaho Falls, Idaho. So there's no need to vote on excusing the absence since it's a city-sponsored retreat. With that being said, I'll go ahead and call the April 22nd, 2025 meeting to order. First on the agenda is the consent agenda. Under the consent agenda, we have 1A, approval of the minutes from April 8th, 2025, regular city council meeting. 1B, approval of the minutes from April 14th, 2025, special council meeting. 1C, approval of the bills through April 17th, 2025 in the amount of $263,991.99. And the last item, 1D, is award of bid to Masterworks Mechanical in the amount of $10,900 for a 2-ton RTU unit at 775 Yampa Avenue.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second?
All right, I got a motion by Councilman Looper, seconded by Councilwoman Kemp to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Consent agenda passes. Next, 2, agenda, approval of the agenda for the April 22nd, 2025 regular council meeting.
Move to. Second?
All right, I got a motion by Councilwoman Camp, second by Councilwoman Gottschall to approve the agenda. All in favor, or is any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We have an agenda. Item 3, under presentations, 3A, we have Caleb Cagle to present on Sasquatch Party Zone and his plans for community events this year. Caleb, welcome.
Hello. Good evening, council and everyone. Thank you for having me tonight. My name is Caleb Cagle, and I'm the owner of Sasquatch Party Rentals, LLC, and Sasquatch Party Zone, Craig's very own indoor bounce house park and inflatable entertainment company. I'm here tonight to introduce myself and my business to you. I started this business in 2022 with just a couple of inflatables, a vision, and a whole lot of hustle. I've supported it entirely on my own while bartending and working multiple jobs, and through that, it's grown into something the community and the entire Yampa Valley and beyond has truly embraced. Over the past 2 years, I've created and hosted several fun events that brought families and community members together, such as the Hayden Hall of Horrors, my annual Halloween haunted house that's become a community favorite for 2 years now, and I plan to continue that tradition at my new location. A family ice cream social at the Haven Assisted Living in Hayden, bringing together generations in a meaningful way, and hope to continue more events for our seniors and their families to be able to enjoy and make memories together. I also created 7 pop-up indoor bounce house parks throughout last winter, giving kids and families a fun space to play even when it was cold outside, which showed me the need and desire for a brick and mortar location. So now I've opened Sasquatch Party Zone, a full-time indoor bounce house park and event space located at 538 Pershing Street here in Craig, connected to the post office. It is packed with full-size inflatables, obstacle courses, games, and more, fun for all ages, even teens and adults, and has been a huge hit. What makes this extra special is that we're the only place like this anywhere nearby, without having to drive all the way to Denver or Grand Junction. Because of that, we're becoming a go-to destination for families from all over Northwest Colorado and even into Wyoming. Looking ahead, I want to keep expanding on the fun My goal is to host more community events that bring families together, things like themed days, summer celebrations, and seasonal events, and also team up with local nonprofits, schools, clubs, and sports teams to help raise funds in fun and engaging ways. My mission is simple. I want Sasquatch Party Rentals and Party Zone to be the go-to spot for entertainment in the Yampa Valley, a place where kids, families, and our whole community can come together and make lasting memories. Thank you so much for letting me introduce myself and my business. I appreciate the opportunity, and I'm excited to keep growing and keep bringing more joy to Northwest Colorado.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris, and thanks for investing in our community. Maybe we'll have our next retreat there. Really get some business done. All right, next on the agenda, city manager report. As mentioned, city manager Brixius is absent, so we will move on to council reports. Councilwoman Gotchel.
Woman, thank you.
I said Councilwoman Gotchel.
I attended the CTC Safe Spaces meeting on 4/14. They're finalizing the Safe Spaces survey, which is a survey they've given to local teenagers at the fifth quarter events and things like that. They did it last Tuesday night at the Boys and Girls Club, and then that was the last step of that part. Next steps are going to be working on the spaces identified as unsafe, which I've already kind of talked to Ryan Dennison and Chief Conrad about, so things are moving there. I attended the special meeting last week as well, strategic planning last week. My CTC board meeting was canceled and my library board meeting was canceled. And I do plan to attend the service awards tomorrow.
Perfect, thank you. Jesse?
I had a meeting last night that I couldn't make, and then my next one's Monday.
Randy?
Went on a tour of the Wild Horse Refuge. If you guys have not been out there, it's an amazing place. They have 30,000 acres, 200 horses. They're going to keep it at 200 horses. And basically, you go to the website and you just tell them you want to come out, and they'll set up a tour and take you. And so it's something everyone should, since it's so close, an amazing place just to look at. I also had a chamber meeting. We are having on May 1st, a Yampa Building celebration. Everyone in the Yampa Building will be presenting what they're doing to the community. So we're hoping that everyone will show up for that. The 2025 Community Guide will be completed and out in the beginning of May. We're working with History Colorado to see what we need to do to change the grant so that we can get the grant for the new roof accepted. There's various historical things that they're asking us to do, so we're doing research on that. Also, just so everyone knows, the Forest Service has stopped allowing permits for tree cutting, selling them anywhere but at their offices. So that basically we've stopped doing that. And CPW has done the same thing. So we are not selling hunting licenses anymore, just so everyone's knowing. I had a Yampa Valley Airport Commission. Airport this last year has been down 4% by the end of March. But to put that in perspective, that still means that there were 219,000 people who went through that airport flying out, not counting the ones coming back in, which made it the second largest amount of people in the history of the airport. They're sending out an RFP to select a construction manager for the future expansion project, so that's moving along. And they have received a grant for $1 million from CDOT for the expansion and $80,000 for DOLA for their airport business park expansion out there. And the other thing, just so everyone's aware, Steamboat Express has pulled out of Steamboat and the airport totally. So right now, they're looking for a new transportation because that was their number one way to get people from the airport to Steamboat. So that's something they're looking at doing. Had a meeting with the Northwest Colorado Innovation Center. We had discussion about moving forward with the purchase of the bell tower. We have hired the Fellows Group out of Boulder to handle the accounting until we have staff. So basically, all our accounting procedures, all the reporting, everything will be handled by them until we end up hiring staff to help deal with that. We agreed that we're going to have a workshop going over everything that the Innovation Center, what we want to do, how we want to move forward with that. That'll be in the end of May. And what else? That's good for that. I also was a judge for the third year in a row at the Chamber Civics Bee. That was amazing. There were 12 kids, middle school kids from Route, Hayden, Steamboat, Craig, who talked about our issues and our problems and Steamboat's issues and problems, and gave amazing presentations. I mean, it's just a great event every year. Plus, they win. I'd forgotten they'd up the money. So first place was $850 this year. Second place was $500. So they win a decent amount of money doing it too. And then I had a Mountain Rail meeting, and the main discussion of that was the success of the Winter Park expansion of service this last winter. They went and took money that was received, the state is receiving from the $5 rental tax fee, and increased their service, almost doubled the amount of service from Denver into Winter Park and back, and decreased the rates. So for $29, you could ride from Denver up to Winter Park, get off at the ski area, have transportation from there out. By doing that, they're able to increase the ridership by 157%. So that's just shows how much people, if it's priced right and you give them the options of how many times you want, how often you can go, that they'll use it. The other thing we talked about, they're still working on the deal with the Moffett Tunnel that was supposed to be done January 1. They've extended it to May 1st. So hopefully the deal between CDOT and UP will be closed by May 1st. And if that happens, then the service development plan we've been waiting for will hopefully be ready by June. And then I had an EDAC meeting and an LMD meeting. But that's it.
Thank you. Andrea?
So I attended the LMD meeting. They received final reports from the museum for some money they give to Northwest Colorado Museum for advertising and marketing. And then also Shannon presented the final report for the business grant program, and then also requested additional money for this year's competition. So $30,000 request that was awarded from LMD, and then the city of Craig will put in an additional $20,000. So the prize money this year will be $50,000. Last year was $30,000. And then they also awarded funding to Good Vibes River Gear for some marketing in the amount of $19,500. I also attended the special meeting, the 2 days of the council retreats we had here last week, and then also over the weekend was able to attend The Witness, which was a kind of a play program that they offered through at the Craig Christian Church, and it was very well attended. We were there on Saturday evening, and they had a great turnout for that, so that was fun. I was glad to be able to enjoy that. So, and that's all I've got.
Thank you. Luke?
I attended the Yampa Valley Golf Association meeting at the course. Hopefully everybody knows the golf course is open and the restaurant. The course is in great shape, so get out there and enjoy it. And then, of course, we attended the retreat this week, and I've got a joint services meeting next Monday. That's it.
Sounds good. Thank you. A couple weeks ago, I attended at the county, or with the county, reviewing and interviewing of the law firms to set up the community trust fund. The county sent out an RFQ about a month ago to qualified law firms to help set up this trust fund. We had 3 proposals turned in, 2 from Denver, 1 local, Keller Law. We reviewed those and interviewed them. And after that, we decided to move forward with Taft Sherman Howard Law Firm, who is based out of Denver. They seem to have the most economic development experience when setting up trust funds such as this. And they were not they were the middle bid, I guess. They weren't the high bid, they weren't the low bid, but to us, they were the most qualified. So we went ahead and moved forward with them. So hopefully, here in the next few weeks, they'll be coming up to Craig in Moffett County discussing with this committee and getting this fund set up. So when we do start to receive money, we have a plan. Also attended a meeting with the county and tri-state officials in regards to the PUC filing and the settlement agreement update, which is the gas plant and the battery storage, which that has since been published for everyone. So good news there, looking to invest more infrastructure in the area due to the closings. Strategic plan retreat, as mentioned, thank you everyone who attended that. 2 pretty good days that we had there. EDAC meeting, Randy hit on a little bit. Business plan competition, that's a July kickoff, correct, Shannon? Yes. As Andrea mentioned, $50,000 prize money, so hopefully we'll see some more entries on that. So that'll be a July kickoff. Shannon gave the annual report update and review to that board. There were some questions about 8th Street, Business Park, Meadows Apartments, that you were able to answer to the committee and give them updates on, especially after we had the retreat, so that was good. Discussion on the courthouse property. Obviously, Market Alliance, it's kind of in their hands currently. But discussion was, what do we want that property to look like? Mixed use, obviously, a headquarter type property type thing. What do we not want it to look, what do we not want it to be? So those were good discussions. And then she gave an update on the IRS letter as well. And then last night, attended planning and zoning, 2 agenda items. First one was we heard from the owner of Napa, Dave Antonio. He was on the agenda to receive a conditional use application or permit to turn the old Cook Ford building into a wholesale auto parts warehouse. Mr. Antonio, sounds like he owns Napa stores throughout the state and southern Wyoming, and he's looking to purchase that property and turn it into a warehouse and a supply hub. So at first, planning and zoning thought he would need a conditional use permit because it is zoned community commercial district. But in discussion throughout the meeting, it was discussed that he did not need a conditional use permit, that he was fine with the C2 zoning, and that he won't be selling retail out of there right off the bat, but he will be manufacturing hydraulic hoses out of there. And his ultimate goal is within 3 to 5 years is to move his current location to that Cook Ford location. So he obviously talked about, the upgrades the building needs, the parking lot, and hopefully he'll address those sooner than later, because he takes pride in his buildings, obviously is what he told us, and so that's a major concern for him. And then we heard an update from, or I guess there was a site plan amendment from the Tunatua RV Park out west, which there is starting to see some action out there. There was a site plan amendment because the clubhouse and one of the structures, the size of the structures decreased a little bit, and there was some revisions to the infrastructure. So planning and zoning approved that site plan amendment, which that will not come to us. That's just a planning and zoning thing. So they're good to move forward there. And other than that, the joint service meeting next Monday, which I think discussions will be on the potential trail from Boys and Girls Club, and then continue Loudy discussions. So, anybody have anything else? If not, we'll move into agenda item 6, public comment. Public comment is a time set aside for citizens to address the city council on matters within the jurisdiction of the city. Each speaker is allocated 3 minutes to speak. And just a reminder that city council can only act on matters that are on the agenda, but may place matters brought to their attention at this meeting on a future agenda for consideration. So go ahead and open public comment if anyone wants to step up.
Janie Morley, Taylor Street. Good evening, council. I'm going to have to take out a couple notes. First of all, I want to publicly thank our road department. I don't know how many of you have noticed, they've been out really working hard, cleaning the streets, the sidewalks, and the entire town. I appreciate it. It shows pride in my city. Okay. I'm going to tell you, I am completely against entertaining the idea for spent nuke fuel. I think the only waste that should ever be stored in Moffat County is what is produced in Moffat County. I'm not a fan of storing anyone else's waste. And I know you guys have had meetings regarding this, I'm not a fan. I do support the rail project, and I'll tell you why. I think what Craig has going against it is the cost of transportation to get raw goods in and the cost of transportation to get produced items out. I think rail will give us a foot up, so I would encourage you to pursue that. I also read in the paper that the mayor was a little surprised that no one spoke up at the public hearing regarding the RTA. I'd like to tell you why I didn't. I'm trying to figure out where you're going to get the money. It'd be foolish for me to speak for or against when I don't completely understand what is being proposed. I will tell you, I will vote no on any additional taxes or fees. I'm stretched to the limit already. I don't want to pay for a rec district. I don't want to pay for someone else's transportation. It'll be no because of taxation. Not that I don't feel transportation is needed, but I already pay for my own transportation, my insurance, my gas, my car payments. I don't want to pay for someone else's as well. That seems unfair. And lastly, Luke, thank you for your comments and your concerns at council meetings. I feel as if you represent me. I really appreciate your comments. Thank you.
Good evening, Council. John Kampineski, 457 East 10th Street. Summer's here, thank goodness, even though I think we could have used a little bit more moisture this winter. And one of the things I love about living in Craig is the awesome events that we have going on in Craig. And as your local reporter, I would like to make sure that we are covering those as much as possible and not necessarily just talking about the events themselves, but the performers that are there and the interesting stories that go into the history of why they're occurring and even the people who are supporting having them go on. So as those things come up, because I know a bunch of you are on committees that have that information, please do not hesitate to reach out so that we can make sure that we're planning to have those stories run in the paper when they come up. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone online? Mindy, for public comment? If no more public comment, I'll move on to agenda item 7, public hearing. 7A, we have City Attorney Heather Cannon to present for public hearing ordinance number 1166, 2025, an ordinance of the City of Craig imposing a moratorium on the submission, acceptance, processing, and approval of applications for the establishment of business that cultivates, processes, or dispenses natural medicine, or the establishment of any business, occupation, or operation for healing centers. So with that being said, I will go ahead and open public hearing and let City Attorney Heather Cannon present on it, or introduce it.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Again, this is a moratorium that's been proposed to really allow the city time to study how we can best regulate the natural healing centers within the city. We are permitted pursuant to law to place regulations with regard to natural healing centers, with regard to time, place, and manner. Obviously, this is very new. I think the first one that has really opened up that I know about is in Fort Collins. I don't believe that they placed any regulations on the natural healing or the natural medicine centers. As discussed in the workshop, the concern is the manner in which these types of laws are passed in the presentation. It seems to be pretty similar to the presentation with regard to the benefits of marijuana. But I think there's also the flip side of the coin where folks now have a concern about the impact the dispensaries have had on communities across the state. The introduction of psilocybin and psychedelics is obviously of greater concern just due to the difference in impact it has on individuals who consume those products. So this approach really is just providing the city time so that we can sit back view how other municipalities are implementing their natural healing centers or their natural medicine centers within their communities, how they are attempting to place regulations on time, place, and manner in their communities, and what the outcome will be. And so that will serve council going forward so that they can make the best decision as to how we can most safely regulate these healing centers within the city.
All right, thank you. Public hearing is open, so if anybody in the audience is wanting to come up and show support or oppose to ordinance 1166, now is the time. Any questions from council for Heather? If not, I'll go ahead and close public hearing, and we will move on to other business. 8A, Water and Wastewater Director Carl Ray to present for discussion and approval the award of bid for the Mariana Way and Circle Drive water line replacement to CRC Incorporated in the amount of $463,300. And at this time, I will be stepping down, and due to the reason that my company bid on it, and I will hand it off to Andrea.
Good evening, council. Just to recap, so about 30 years ago, a group of properties that were part of the Cedar Mountain Village Mobile Home Park wanted to separate from that park and own their own property, and so they split off, and the water, sewer, streets, that infrastructure was dedicated to the city. However, the water and sewer run from the water runs from the park out to that portion that's now private, and the sewer runs into the park, that's caused us a number of problems with trying to sort out whose responsibility is what, and also the water infrastructure, which is what this project focuses on, does not meet our current modern day standards, and we've had to do a lot of repairs in that. So you guys have probably heard me request before that we went for a Department of Local Affairs Energy Impact Mineral Assistance grant to assist us with that project. So the engineer's estimated opinion of cost was $739,860, and DOLA will match one half of that, or $360,930. So we went through the bid process, prepared the bid documents, started advertising on March 19th, had a mandatory pre-bid meeting on April 1st, and we addressed questions and concerns in 3 addenda, and we had 6 bid items, and we received 4 bids, one from CRC Inc., one from Duran and Pierce Contractors, one from Anson Excavating and Pipe, and one from Phones Construction. At the end of my recommendation is a table showing the total cost of all bid items, and so as you can see from that, the low bid was CRC at $463,300, which is about 63% of the engineer's opinion of probable cost. So our engineers reviewed the bid packages and references were checked. I am not aware of any city projects where we've used CRC Inc. before. I know they've bid on some water and wastewater projects, but I don't recall them ever actually being awarded. So we did our due diligence, and the engineer's recommendation and our recommendation is to award the bid to CRC Inc.
Council, questions for Carl?
Carl, looking at the due diligence you did, SGM is and I'm not sure if I'm reading this right, are those the listing of places that CRG has done things before?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, Okay, what's council's pleasure?
I'll make a motion to award CRC Inc. In the bid for the Mariana Way and Circle Drive water line replacement in the amount of $463,300.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion by Councilman Looper and a second by Councilman Jackson. Is there any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the bid is awarded.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda, item 8B, we have Road and Bridge Director Shane Baker to present for discussion and approval the award of bid for the 2025 asphalt street overlay to United Companies in the amount of $296,122.
Good evening, council. Yeah, this is our 2025 asphalt overlays. This year, we opened it on April 14th or 15th. The street schedule this year, 8th Street from Yampa to Washington, and then Russell Street from 8th Street down to 7th, and as well as Tucker, kind of where we did those developments last year. Those were slated anyways. We just postponed them because we were doing the construction over there. So we did receive one qualified bid back from United Companies for $296,000, or $296,122. They have met all bid specifications and are low bid. So we'd like to recommend the award will go to them.
All right, any questions for Shane?
I'll make a motion to award United Companies a bid in amount of $296,122 for asphalt street overlay.
Second.
I got a motion by Councilman Looper, second by Councilman Jackson. Is there any discussion? Shane, has there been any talks? I know United is always seems to be the only bidder because they're the only plant operating.
Yeah.
Has there been any talks? Have you heard anything about Elam?
You know, I haven't heard
So you-
anything about Elam, and I should have maybe put that in here. We did receive another bid from CKC, but I rejected it because they didn't do a bid walk. So they're out of Roosevelt. They are bidding stuff in Steamboat, and they actually did get a portion of the city of Steamboat's bid. So I was kind of surprised they didn't do a bid walk on our part. But no, I haven't heard anything from Elam.
All right, thank you. All right, we got a motion and a second on the table. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 8C, Road and Bridge Director Shane Baker to present for discussion and approval the award of bid for the 2025 curb and gutter improvements to Anson Excavating and Pipe in the amount of $162,385. And once again, I will step down. Let Andrea finish the meeting.
Okay, thank you. This is the 2025 curb and gutter and concrete improvements that we opened up on April 15 as well. We're going to finish up out in Ridgeview and work our way east to Rose Street this year. The approved budget for the improvements out of our capital is $200,000. We received 4 bids back from 5 potential bidders: Anson Excavating and Pipe, Duran and Pierce, Steamboat Asphalt, and Chato's Juarez Company. And as long as I've been here, this is the most interest we've had in our curb and gutter bids. And I feel like even there is some difference between the top and the low bidder, but for that guy being out of town and the other 3, I think they're extremely, extremely competitive. So thanks to all the guys that did do that. But with the low bid coming in at $162,385 from Anson Excavating and Pipe, we'd like to recommend the award will go to Anson.
Shane, what was our budget for this? 200,000?
200,000, yes.
Any other questions? Okay, council, what's your pleasure?
I'll make a motion to approve the bid to Anson Excavation for $162,385 for 2025 curb and gutter improvements.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion from Councilman Tucker, a second from Councilwoman Gottschall. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes and the bid is awarded.
All right, thank you, Andrea.
Yep.
Mike, thanks for showing up. Yep. All right, 8D, City Attorney Heather Canning to present for discussion and approval, second reading, ordinance number 1166, 2025, the ordinance of the City of Craig imposing a moratorium on the submission, acceptance, processing, and approval of applications for the establishment of business that cultivates, processes, or dispenses natural medicine, or the establishment of any businesses, occupation, or operation for healing centers. Obviously, we had a public hearing on this and heard from City Attorney Cannon. Is there any discussion or questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve ordinance number 1166, 2025.
Second.
All right, I got a motion by Councilwoman Gottschall, second by Councilman Jackson, to approve second reading of ordinance number 1166, 2025. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item 9, discussions. We have none. We'll move on to 10, staff reports, where we'll have Economic Development Manager Shannon Scott to give us the Economic Development Department Annual Report for 2024.
Thank you. Good evening, Council. You all should have a copy of this in your packet. So just wanted to kind of touch on some of the highlights. Obviously, I was given this report yesterday to our EDAC committee. We are still in draft form here, so if there's anything typo-wise or information-wise that you see that might need to be adjusted, please let us know before we get these professionally printed. One of the items that I wanted to point out on this page here at the top, we talked about this a little bit at the strategic planning meeting last week. So the EDAC actually does have a vision and mission statement. And this obviously helps us when we're determining our goals, in conjunction with the transition plan, and then obviously from guidance from council. But I just wanted to read that off and just kind of give you guys an idea of what, kind of our focus area is. So our vision and mission statement for the EDAC is to focus on strengthening and diversifying the community by supporting growth with existing industries, attracting new industries, supporting quality of life activities, and marketing Craig's pro-business climate and entrepreneurial culture. So as we were putting together the vision and mission statement for the city last week, I felt this aligned very well with, the economic development portion of that. So I was glad to see kind of that alignment. Next page just talks a little bit about some of the demographic information for 2024. So, and looks like some information for 2023. So our population, workforce, households, median home value, as well as our median household income. So we try to, produce that every year just to kind of see a year-by-year comparison of how those numbers change. Then on the third page, we do list our 6 Economic Development Advisory Committee goals for 2024. Obviously, those change year by year as those get accomplished, and obviously from input from the council as well. Has a list of our EDAC members there, as well as our city council liaisons. And then we get into a little bit with housing. I know we kind of went into depth about this last week at the strategic planning retreat, but I just wanted to touch on this again for the public's sake. So for the 8th Street townhomes, we did begin construction of those in the summer of 2023. They were completed in the fall of 2024. Again, this was a partnership, public-private partnership between the City of Craig, the Craig Housing Authority, the Yampa Valley Community Foundation, and MRH. This project was made available because of grant funding that we secured, totaling almost $5 million. Again, we have 20 units total. We have 12 3-bedroom and 8 2-bedroom units for sale. Each of those units obviously contains a backyard. We have energy-efficient appliances, the carports for the 2 dedicated parking spaces, which I hear are completed, so that's good news. And we also have fiber optic cable running to those units and EV hookups. Another update that I got earlier today was that the landscaping is expected to begin soon. So hopefully that will be complete in the next several weeks. And to date, we have 2 of those units sold. We are in conjunction with Cornerstone Realty, who is the listing agent. We'll be launching a pretty aggressive marketing campaign in the next several weeks because we have reduced the prices on those units. So hope to see some more interest just due to the timing of the year, and then obviously lowering the prices of those. For the Meadowwood or Meadows Apartments, again, this is another public-private partnership between the City of Craig, the Housing Authority, and Colorado Outdoors. This is going to be a for-rent 96-unit apartment complex consisting of studio, 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units. We will be targeting between 60 and 100% average median income, which right now that AMI for 2025 for Craig for one person at 100% is $71,400. Just finishing up some some planning over at that site right now. We do still have to have a site plan that needs to get approved, but the developer is hoping to break ground in July. Andrea and Derek and Randy touched a little bit on the Craig Business Plan competition. Just a recap of 2024. That was our second year that we held the competition, receiving funds from the local marketing district in the amount of $30,000. We did have 2 winners. We had a first place winner in the startup category earning $15,000, and that was Harmony House, and also a winner in the existing category, Moffett County Customs, also earning $15,000. Those companies are doing well. Last I heard from Harmony House, they have hired about 30 part-time employees, which is probably equivalent to about 12 to 15 full-time. And then Moffett County Customs was actually able to move out of their garage, which they were currently operating their business, and bought a larger commercial facility in town, which they've expanded into. So glad to see them hiring folks and expanding. So the Rural Jumpstart program, we had 2 businesses that qualified for this program last year. So High Altitude Geothermal was actually the first company in Moffett County to be awarded Rural Jumpstart funding, so that was pretty exciting. Basically, in order to qualify, you have to have a unique product idea or service that you don't have any competitors in the area or region. So really neat to see this company being able to benefit from that. It's a husband and wife team and their children. The husband actually works at Kalawao currently, so he's transitioning out of that, starting his own business. So really cool to see the progress of that company. But basically, it's a state program that offers state income tax relief, state sales and use tax relief, county personal property tax relief, and municipal property tax relief for new businesses. So as far as our involvement in it, they essentially have to have either an institute of higher education or an economic development organization that sponsors them and supports them, which the EDAC did. So the second Rural Jumpstart company that was approved was Harmony House, which was also our first place winner in the startup category for the business plan competition. So really cool to see people taking advantage of those programs. They've been around for a while, but kind of tough criteria to qualify. So glad to see that. We're still continuing to monitor our 2 URA projects. So we have the Bad Alibi Distillery that was approved in URA number 2. They are nearing completion from what I understand, as well as Ann's Authentic Thai and Unit 301 Sports Bar and Grill still under construction. One of the cool things I wanted to point out is I think the URA has been in operation now for about 3 years, and we're finally starting to see some revenues coming in. So between the 2 URAs last year, between sales and property taxes, we've actually generated about $150,000. So that'll be nice when companies actually come to us and say, hey, we might need some upfront funding. We have some money in the coffers that we can offer. So happy to see those producing some revenue. For the Craig Business and Industrial Park, so in the fall of last year, we did get awarded our full Office of Just Transition, or OJT grant. in the amount of $1,051,000, and that's going to be for the acquisition of the property. And then in the spring of last year, we got a $2.5 million congressionally directed spending, or CDS grant, to help start construction of some of the infrastructure at the park. We did release the RFQ yesterday to help solicit the master developers, so working through that process. The submissions are due May 21st, and then per discussions at the council retreats, it sounds like we will have a workshop with council and potentially EDAC members to go through those submissions and actually select the master developer. And we did notice a typo where industrial is, so we will get that corrected. Yampa River Corridor project is progressing. We saw the completion of the boat ramp last year, and then the in-stream and diversion site work is anticipated to be completed by the end of this year or early next year. We have had some conversations about the Regional Transportation Authority, or the RTA, so I wanted to put in some kind of visuals to talk a little bit more about what the RTA is, how it's potentially funded, some of the projects that we're really honing in on, specifically for Craig. So I know more to come on that later on this year for a potential ballot item. So yeah, that's all I've got on the RTA. And just to wrap it up, we talked a little bit about some of the marketing and promotional items that the EDAC has been focusing on the last couple years. Our website has been up and operational now for about 2.5 years. So just a couple of snapshots on visitors to the site. We had a little over 10,000 visitors last year to the site. As part of our additional marketing and promotion, we did publish another feature article in Business View magazine. That was actually a follow-up to an article that we had published in 2023. So just giving updates on some of our projects like the townhomes, the river project, the URA projects, and some of our quality of life assets. So those QR codes are attached there. If you guys haven't seen those articles, feel free to click on those QR codes. And then we did have another article in Trends magazine where we talked specifically about the H Street project and the importance of public-private partnerships. And then finally, just a snapshot again of some of the grant awards that we received last year for the housing projects, the industrial park, from the LMD for the business plan competition, and then the pending grant that we've got for the Brownfields grant in the amount of $500,000 that we hope to hear news on probably in the next 4 to 6 weeks. And that's all I've got, unless anybody has any questions.
Any questions for Shannon? All right, Shannon, well, thank you. It's a good report.
Thank you.
Be exciting to get it out to the community and connecting areas so they can see all the projects we have going on.
For sure.
Next up, we have Director Carl Ray, who will give updates on water and wastewater reports for March 2025.
Good evening again. So for the water plant for March 2025, we maintain compliance with state and federal regulations for water quality and reporting, met our pressure flows, fire suppression, and consumer needs. Our distribution foreman passed his A water treatment certification exam, which is pretty big step. So proud of that. There was a sharp increase in non-payments, 13 up from 2 in January and 5 in February. Not sure why we saw that increase in non-payment shutoffs, but we did see that. We have water treatment and distribution staff doing some cross-training, so we have essentially one person from each part of water treatment that is kind of swapping out and learning about the other positions and getting some hands-on experience so that they can also become certified in more areas. Maintenance and improvement. We did our monthly maintenance, and we continue to do work out at Elkhead. We've just about wrapped up the controls upgrades. We have one final piece, a web browser that the River District can use that we're working on. And we had a water break at the intersection of Moffett and Crockett that the distribution crew repaired. On average, we treated 1.1 million gallons of water a day. And on the next slide, we have some of the, oh, Mindy's not quite there yet. On the next slide, we have some of our statistics for the month and year to date on line locates, hydrants flushed, valves worked, and that kind of information. So you can see even in March, we had 3 frozen meters. So hopefully we're about done with that at this point. And then I'd like to move on to wastewater. So wastewater, we complied with state and federal regulations, performed our daily, weekly, monthly maintenance as recommended, treated an average of 989,000 gallons of wastewater a day, and received and treated 500 gallons of hauled waste. We, again, is kind of mirrors the other report as far as the locates. So 33 hours to perform 66 locates, 36 hours to hydraulically clean 0.75 miles of sewer main as part of our routine every 5-week maintenance, 31 and a half hours to hydraulically clean 2.3 miles of sewer main as part of our annual cleaning program, and 25 hours used to apply herbicide to tree roots and sewer main as part of the annual tree root maintenance program. We have one collection system corrective action. We responded to a backup at 404 Taylor. There was water backing up into the basement. We did find a problem in the city main, and the obstruction was cleared and normal flow returned. The business owner was referred to the city clerk for insurance purposes. To this point, I'm not aware of any claim, but we had this on our list from the R.H. Borden acoustic survey work, and somehow that particular segment of Maine did not get done. So we're moving back and using our GIS mapping capabilities again to help track some of that. And I'll show you some reports in a couple of minutes that summarize that data. We assisted other departments as needed, and we analyzed Maybell's monthly plant samples. And then the next page of the report is the hydraulic cleaning for March 2025. So we have a GIS map that changes color and shows what lines have been cleaned and what lines have not been cleaned. And this table has been exported from our GIS software, so we can I can do this every month and provide that to council. But you can see that we spent 31 and a half hours, total of 12,066 feet, or 2.3 miles of sewer main that were cleaned in March. And then as we continue our root treatment program on the next page, you can see that all those sections of sewer main were treated with the root killer herbicide, and so total of 25 hours spent on that. So I'd be happy to entertain any questions anybody has on the reports.
Carl, since implementing that system for the root treatment and the cleaning, has it seemed to save you guys some time?
It does save us some time, and the acoustic assessment saved us a lot of time because we were able to focus on the high priority areas that were blocked or potentially blocked on that report. And that was also a GIS map that we had to work through those potential problem areas. So global information systems really help us out, give us a good visual on what our system condition is and the areas we need to focus on.
Any questions for Carl? None? Thank you, Carl.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. 11, closing remarks and informational items. Anybody have any? Staff? If not, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, I got a motion by Councilman Looper, second by Councilwoman Gotchel. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?